Hey, I'm Steven, and I'm about to go see Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald. It's a mouthful, and I'll catch you after the credits.
Magic blooms only in rare souls. Still, we must skulk in shadows. But the old ways serve us no longer.
I take it you've heard the rumors. Grindelwald had a vision that he would rise to dominance over the wizarding world.
So you're asking me to help hunt him down?
I can't move against Grindelwald. It has to be you.
Ooh, what to say. I guess first of all I'll say it was good. Wasn't anything super special. Yeah, and a review. Thanks, guys. No. So I had, of the movies I've seen recently, this is probably the one I had the most issues with. And the only actor I really had an issue with is Johnny Depp. I'm just kind of over Johnny Depp. I don't think he adds anything to a movie anymore. I didn't think he was necessarily bad, but he wasn't really engaging. He just looked like Johnny Depp with white hair, and sounded like Johnny Depp with white hair. New additions, I will say Jude Law makes actually a very likable young Dumbledore.
An address. What's that? A safe house in Paris.
Why would I need a safe house in Paris?
Should things at some point go terribly wrong, it's good to have a place to go. You know, for a cup of tea.
Very well done. I'm glad he has the same warm heart, same kind of sense of humor. And it's nice to see Dumbledore not being an old man barely moving around kind of thing. I guess the biggest problem with this movie is it's a follow-up to a movie setting up this movie, which this movie is basically just set up for the next movie. All this movie is kind of Grimwald's rise to power as a dark wizard now, or I guess 1927, but in the movie's modern setting, you know, it's no secret that he was involved with Dumbledore. I don't think they ever say that they were lovers in the movie, but everybody knows. It's pretty darn obvious, you know. I heard you two were like brothers. Oh, more than brothers. And I mean, yeah, we all get it. Even if you're not saying it, you're... Funny enough, for not saying something, this movie was extremely wordy. This movie, I feel... No, I didn't look this up, but I know J.K. Rowling is at least involved in the screenwriting of these movies. I don't know how involved she was in this one, if she did it all, if she did some of it, or what. I think she is a good author, and at least in the Harry Potter series. I haven't read any of her other works. But the problem is, a screenplay is not the same as a book. Movies are a visual medium, and this movie talked a lot. For a movie about magic and fantastic beasts and where to find them and things like that, it just talked a lot. There were some whimsical moments, and Newt Scamander is good as always. They've got, I knew his name earlier, but the Muggle, or Nomad, or whatever they're calling him, from the first movie, he's back, and he just kind of pops in, like, with his memories, and they're like, why do you remember? And they give a one-sentence explanation, like, because it erases only the bad memories, not the good ones, and so blah blah blah. And basically he's just there because he was in the first one, and people like him, and Kowalski, that's his name, I think. Or Korovsky, something along those lines. And, like, he's great in the little bits he's in. If you're a fan of the Harry Potter movies, it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be fine, but you're not gonna get anything new out of it, really. You're gonna have spent 2 hours entertained, but not left with much else. There's a lot in this movie that was just kind of, hey, remember the Harry Potter movies? We do. Like, oh, here's Hogwarts again. How wonderful. And here's the mirror. That was in Harry Potter. Here's Nicolas Flamel. Nicholas Flamel?
Are you a ghost?
No, I'm alive. But I'm an alchemist and therefore immortal.
Oh.
Nicolas Flamel.
They say it 2 different ways, I think, and I don't know which is technically accurate or if they're both accurate. I'm not going to get into that right now, but he's in it, and he was in the first, or mentioned in the first Harry Potter movie. And then, if you know anything about him, there's a little surprise when he's in the movie as well. I'm not going to give it away, but when you see it, you're just going to like, oh, there it is, there it is. But I really don't have a lot to talk about with this movie, because our main characters feel like they're barely in it. Like, Newt Scamander is technically one of our main characters, but he's just following, I want to say, Tina, the Aura from the first movie. Who is following this one guy who's following the boy from the first movie, who's also being followed by Grindelwald, who... It's a lot of cat and mouse, and it really doesn't... It never really feels like it comes together, but they sure talk about it coming together. I will say the climax is pretty cool. Grindelwald holds a big rally, and there are a couple surprises in there that we'll wait for the next movie to see are warranted. Some of them are good, some of them are like, is that really what we're going for? Like, would this character really make that decision, kind of thing? And where did that decision even come from, even if they would? Because nothing really led up to it, it just kind of happened. Because basically Grindelwald goes like, alright, if you're 100% with me, walk through this fire.
Mr. Scamander!
Do you think Dumbledore will mourn for you?
And if you are, you won't get burned. It's actually a kind of compelling scene. There's interesting things that happen. Twists. Some characters you think are going to make it through don't, and some that you don't think are going to make it through do. No complaints with the ending. I actually liked the ending. But the reason I don't have much to talk about is because, like I said, this movie is basically just set up for the third movie. And I'm pretty certain this series is going to be 5 movies long, and I'm really hoping that it's not all going to be one big story. Like, I'm hoping the story from these first 2 movies gets wrapped up in the third, and that the next 2 in this Wizarding World universe are going to be something different. Because I really don't know how much more they can do with this particular story. They've got enough to finish it in the third movie. I'm just not on the edge of my seat for the third movie, I guess. So, would I recommend it? I suppose I would. If you're looking to kind of escape back into this world, there's a lot of little fun things in it. Basically, in my opinion, because I'm just so sick of Johnny Depp, not much until the ending with his character really works, but I feel like everything else in the movie is still somewhat fun to watch, somewhat whimsical. It's nice to return to Hogwarts again. We haven't technically seen it in a while. It's been I don't remember when the last Harry Potter movie came out, but it's been since then, and we've had a full movie in between then and now. And I think the previous Fantastic Beasts came out 2 years ago, and then I know it had been a few years since Harry Potter Part 8 in the first Fantastic Beasts. So, like I said, it's been a while since we've seen some of these things, and it is nice to return to it. I think, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this movie probably a 7. I don't think I can go any higher. My feelings toward it might change on if the setups in this movie pay off in the third. Because if they don't, like, I won't really look forward to the next two, or even if they'll make another two after this. So yeah, 7 out of 10. I would recommend if you want to go watch another Harry Potter movie. It is good. It is a fun movie. I feel like I'm much more good about explaining things that I don't like in a movie than I am. So a lot of my reviews so far, that I've noticed anyway, have had kind of a negative spin on them, and I don't want them to sound that way. I do sincerely like going to the movies. I like the movies I watch. I typically won't pick a movie to go see that I don't think I'll like in some way, at least. So, with that being said, I think that's all I really have to talk about Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. And if you liked it, let me know. If you didn't like it, let me know why that too. I mean, I'm sincerely interested hearing your guys' comments about these movies if you're watching them. And if you're not, tell me why you're not watching them, because I'd kind of like to know that too. Just feedback, anything, and I will see you at the movies.
That's her brother?
I think that might have been the best moment of my life.